Hi everyone and welcome back. This is Leaf Yarns podcast. Today is Thursday the 25th of October 2018. I am coming to you from Alphington in Devon, which is Exeter in England. Did I just say my name? I'm Elly. This is the relaunched podcast and this is episode 2. Today I have got quite a lot to show you, and hopefully this time I'm recording differently on my new phone, so it shouldn't cut out really abruptly. So I have got knitting, crochet, spinning, sewing, shop update, and future plans, I suppose. I'm just going to grab something. Hold on, sorry. Typical. So, I'm just grabbing my blanket. I'm going to put my glasses here because they are reflecting the light. Right, so first things first, I have got a finished object. Yay! Right, so it is the Sweatshirt sweater, and I have done all my show notes and everything this week. So on the Ravelry group, everything's linked. So the yarn I used is this, which is Malabrigo Rios in the Winter Lake colourway. Now I used 5 1/3 skeins for this jumper. I did the size small, which is the second size. Now I've started weaving the ends, but I haven't finished. So here it is. Ta-da! You can see the raglan detailing and things. Now Abby didn't want the pouch that goes on the front here, so that saved me a bit of yarn. Otherwise it would have been the full 6 skeins. It's very soft. It's very, very pretty. I had to make alterations though, because unlike me, who's very petite, Abby isn't. She has longer arms than me, and so in the pattern the sleeves would have been about the same as this on me according to the pattern, but because Abby's got so much longer sleeves, I had to do them, well, you can see, 4 inches longer. And on the body it says in the instructions, if you want to add length, you do it in between the increases and things, and the same on the sleeves. So I had to do an extra 2 rounds per set of increases, etc. On the sleeves, and then in the body I had to add I think it was 3 inches, nearly 4 inches before I got to the armpit, where I then joined everything together. What else do I want to say about this? The collar, I think the pattern, I mean, I don't know if it's just me, but the collar's very wide, and in the picture it looks more like a crew neck, but this is more of a, it's not quite a boat neck, not quite a scoop neck, but it's big. So I'm going to have to use a tighter cast off on this, because it sits sort of here, and that's too splayed out for Abby. But I shall see what happens when I've given it a wash and a block. It might shrink, it might grow, I don't know. But it's finished, which means that my first project for Christmas knitting, gift knitting, etc. is done. So I'm very, very happy with it. I'm actually very jealous. But I do have another Malabrigo Rios yarn in a different colour to knit myself a jumper next year. And yeah, Abby's tried it on, it fits, and so now I can just wash it, block it, and wrap it up ready. Yay! So that is my finished objects for this week. I know it's not much, but it's something. And bear in mind, I didn't record last week because I had flu. I'm still feeling all the aches and stuff now. Not as bad, and my chest's a bit tight, but I'm just glad it's gone, to be honest. So I'm going to have to pop this behind me here, which is why I left a gap, I remember now. Right, so my notes are on the screen behind you. So whips. I have got a lot of whips this week. Let's see. Right, the first one is in my Christmas bag, which I got from Mina Phillip, who did Mina Makes bags, and she's knitting Expat, and I bought this one off her a few years ago, and I thought it was appropriate because it's a Christmas present. So in here is living my future mother-in-law's Christmas present, which is a pair of socks. And I found the ball band this week, so this is what I've got left of the yarn so far. And it's organic Pima cotton. It doesn't have a colourway name, but it's blue barn fibre, and it's eco-friendly hand-painted yarn and fibre. 437 yards per 100 grams, fingering weight. So that's their label. And like I said, I've linked their page on Ravelry so that you can go to the Etsy shop or whatever. So last week I was still on sock 1. Well, that is now finished. Now my future mother-in-law has smaller feet for me, so that was quite pleasant. So there we go. Ta-da! These are really nice and soft, and they're very straight. I was thinking cotton might not be very stretchy, but this is actually quite stretchy. But I did a large loose cast off the top, and yeah, so that is sock 1, short row heel, because it's quick and easy. And then sock 2, my sock holder DPN from Sylvie. And sock 2, I am now almost halfway through the heel, so it's like that. And yeah, I'm hoping to try and get these finished today, while I'm, editing the podcast and uploading and everything else. And this, I use a marker when I'm doing the heel on the final row before I do the heel, so then I know where to start counting from again for the rows going up the leg. I did a 2x2 rib cuff. They're just vanilla socks. I was going to do a pattern, but it got too fiddly, and I was like, I just need these to be speedy. And for a pair of socks that I don't know if they're going to fit yet, and for someone that can't wear wool and has never had knitted socks in their life, I figured it would probably be better to just knit a plain vanilla pair of socks, and then if they fit, I can use this as my base recipe to go on to make her other socks, which will also have to be non-wool, but that's fine. So let's pop this all away. And I can move on to the next whip that I'm doing. So the next project is a pair of socks that I cast on the toe for myself a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago, on one of my yarns, and I pulled it out the other day because I was having a rummage for my Bergere de France ball, and I found them and I was like, perfect colours for my future father-in-law. So, and as it's nearly Halloween, I thought this bag was very appropriate. It's Hello Kitty Zombies and Nightmare Before Christmas. Sorry, makes me happy. So this is my Glacier colourway, and this is still one that I will dye occasionally. It was quite popular last year, and so I decided to carry on, and I am that far now. Now he really likes blues and greys, so what I should be doing, if these are going to be too white for him, because you can't really see the grey, there is grey in it, there we go, I'm going to overwash them with another shade of grey, so there's less white showing, but when they're finished, and then I can use whatever's left to make myself a smaller pair with a contrast heel and toe and possibly rib cuff, but we shall see. So these ones I am doing 64 stitch count, and I shall be doing them because his feet are quite, well, they're not big for a man, but they're bigger than mine, so I'm doing the foot and the leg 70 rounds, so that they'll be more man-sized, I suppose. I'm hoping that'll fit. If not, I can always alter them. And I'm using a very cute lantern stitch marker. There you go. I think that's from Mothie and the Squid. I could be wrong, but yeah. And it's not a stitch marker, it's a stitch, yeah, stitch marker. But yes. So that is on my birch base, which is just wool nylon. And it is 2 different shades of blue and some teal and a bit of grey, and I'm hoping that he'll like them. I've spoken to admin, she said that he will like those, because we went stash diving through all my yarns and it was like, no, there's nothing in here that's perfect. And I found this and I was like, what about this? And she was like, yes. So that's another one on my Christmas to-do list. Next is my Imprim Gris Bergere de France socks. So I, as you know, finished the first one. I showed you last time when I recorded, which is here. Ta-da! And I started the second one, and I had to join the second ball of yarn in, where was it? Here. So just before I had to do all the heels. So a couple of rounds before I had to start doing the heel flap. So these ones now, I am 5 rounds up the leg. So it's 3/4 of the way done to a pair of socks for myself for next year. And I've decided that I shall wear these in my boots, because then they won't felt, or I'm hoping they won't felt. And I have the rest of the ball here, and it is Bergere de France Goomy 50, and it's the Imprim Gris colourway. And yeah, they're okay. I said last time that I probably wouldn't buy them again unless I was making man socks. That may change. I've yet to wash it. I'm hoping that once I wash it, they'll soften up. And I remember vaguely someone saying that happens. So fingers crossed, because if that's the case, then it's actually a very budget-friendly yarn for good hard-wearing socks. Oh, one thing I will say, I knit all my socks on a 2.5mm carbons, which is Knit Pro and Knitter's Pride, whatever, in the US, purely because after years of knitting, they're the ones that suit me best. So the majority of my knitting is now done on carbons, and I've got quite a collection, which has taken me a while to get, but I think it's worth it. So yeah, tools and all that. Now I have got my mixed socks. Now I've not done much, but I have done some. Oh, they've all gone tangled. Let me just undo this. Right, so on sock 1 it's at that point, and sock 2 it's longer, but it's still cool. So I am, you know, they'll get there. These are just my background knitting, something fun to pick up when I want a bit of change in colour and things. I've probably only knit about 1 inch on these since I last recorded, maybe a bit more. I've knit 1 inch on this one since I last saw you guys, and maybe 1 centimetre on this one. So it's slowly, but that's fine because they're just my fun knitting project. So the purpley pink is the Gothica colourway from Vista Dyeworks, and then I've got Sara's Texture Crafts and McMullin Fiber Co. And that is living in my yarn bowl, which wasn't designed as a yarn bowl, but I bought it on Extra Key. Every first Sunday of the month here in Exeter, they have a craft type market, which we stumbled upon completely by accident. Abby and I were just out walking one afternoon, and this lady makes handmade pottery, and it's kiln cottage craft, I think it is. Isn't that beautiful? And I was like, oh my gosh. And it was only £10. And I was like, oh, that's such a steal. So I had to get one. And then all inside is this beautiful tealy turquoise colour, and it's lovely. And it's perfect yarn ball size. So that has to live there. Okay, and my final pair of socks that I'm working on are my Voolenvine socks. Now I have reached the point, oh, I'm all hooked up, where I'm about to do the ribbing for the cuff. So here it is. This is sock number 1, and this one's got my little spiderweb stitch mark on it. And this is in Voolenvine's Fairy colourway, which she hasn't done in her shop for a long time, but I absolutely love it. So those are another one of my just pottering along socks, because I've got so much else I have to be knitting and sewing, and you know, I can't really say, oh, I'll do some for me, but you know, we'll see. And this is in the bag that goes with the sock holder from Sylvie. Yes, so there we go. Put a project bag down there. Okay, so my final knitting whip this week. Last week I did post just a couple of minutes here on YouTube showing that I'd started the test knit for Mina, and it's for the big red pullover. It's knitting Expat designs, and I'm using a project bag that my friend Sketched in Repeat sewed for me, and it's got this beautiful handle on it. Now, this was a commissioned bag, and so on the inside is this beautiful fabric as well, the floral, the roses and things. So I'm not going to show you the pattern because it's test knit, hence what the basket's there. So the first colour, or the contrast colour, is this. There you go, that's showing quite well actually. And it is Miss Babs Yarns in the Lurch colourway on her Cosmic base. There we go, Lurch. So this is superwash merino and 20% nylon. It feels coarser than that, but I know it's not. This is a beautiful colour, and I love it so much. And the second colour I'm using is one of mine, which is the Leaf Yarns, and it's called Deep Moss. Now, because I need more than one yarn, more than one skein, I'm alternating skeins. There we go. So this is also on merino nylon, and it's lovely. Now, I haven't dyed this colour in a while. No, this isn't merino. Yes, it's merino nylon. I was like, do the stroke test. But if people like it, then I will bring it back and put it up in the shop. Just let me know and I'll put a listing in. So I am using those colours combined to make this. Now the big red sweater, like this. So now I cheated, and when I had to change from the cast on needle to the bigger needle to accommodate the stitches, I then went back and did the neckband now, because I don't like leaving neckbands to the end of jumpers because they stretch, or it's awkward because you've got a whole jump on the needles and you've got sleeves that get in the way and everything else. And I thought, this one time I'm going to do it now, and it's worked so well. The stitches are more even, the picking up stitches was easier, and it's not stretched, it fits beautifully. And it meant also that I could try it on while it was still small without having to worry about getting my arms in and pulling it over my head and everything else, and it fitted perfectly. So this jumper has got running cables going down with the raglan goes in the main colour, and the contrast colour just stripes throughout the jumper, and I absolutely love it, and I can't wait absolutely can't wait to finish this. This is my guilty evening knitting now. So when we're watching telly or a movie or, you know, playing something, this comes out. And oh, I'm so in love with it. I can't wait to finish it. And I think it's going to look rather nice. So I will be showing this as I knit it each week. I've got until first or second week of January to get it finished, but I reckon I'm going to get this finished in the next month. So by the end of November this will be done, because I love it so much and I can't wait to wear it. And I have a project page on Ravelry for any notes. If you want any you know, tips or whatever, if you decide to buy the pattern and cast on. I hope you buy the pattern because it's beautiful and it's so well written. Excuse me. You know, and as someone that's testing it, I can say sort of, yes, this yarn would work, and no, that yarn wouldn't work, and blah blah, and you know what I mean. So yeah, I highly recommend this. As soon as it's been published and Mina says, you know, go, 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 I will announce and say, you can go and buy this now, and I'll wear it on that episode, just so you know. So there we go. And that's really super fun. Oh, my stitch marker for this one. It's a little Halloween witch's hat with a little pumpkin on the end, and I absolutely love it. I think it's really cute. So, so cute. So yeah, they were a Halloween set I bought one year. I remember now. So let's put that back in that bag. And then I can put them all back in here. I do have another project in there. That's also a Mina Phillip or Knitting Expat Designs pattern, but I'm going to be frogging it because my colours don't quite work. So, I mean, they work, but I'm not sure I'd wear them. But anyway, so moving on. That is all the knitting, but I have future knitting plans. Now, I am going to be knitting my future sister-in-law some socks, and she's quite rough with clothes and things, and I've seen her packing and things for holidays, and I've seen her throwing. I'm like, you're very lovely to me, but I'm not using merino on you, I'm sorry. So this is some of the first sock yarn I bought many years ago when I found Stephanie Pearl McPhee, and she said sock yarn doesn't count. So I was like, yes, yarn binge. But I bought this on eBay, I want to say, after I'd come across it on Ravelry as a good sturdy yarn. So it's Red Heart Stardust, and I've just been waiting for a reason to knit this up, and I don't know why I haven't used it for myself, but it's a good thing too because she will love this. And it's just called Purple, just Purple. So the colour is 1530. So I've got 2 of these, and these will be some socks for my future sister-in-law. Hi, Batcat. Now, Batcat has just come in, so he might stand on the laptop. All the dogs are going to get up and start scuffing with him, because he and Phoebe are best friends. Aren't you, Batcat? No, don't go there. Don't go there, please. Come here. Come here. Come say it. Here's Batcat. You can say hello. Here's your Phoebe. Go on then. Play nice. Come here. Come here. Oh. This is Phoebe GB. She's almost 8 months now, aren't you? I bought her as a companion for Joey, and she came on April Fool's Day, which was Easter Sunday, didn't you? But you were too little, weren't you? I had to give her milk and stuff because she was so young. She was rejected from her mother, so we had her early, didn't you? Yeah, go on then, you go down. So she's half Jack Russell, half Blue Merle Chihuahua. She's absolutely beautiful. She's got blue and brown eyes. Oh, she's spoiled though. She sleeps with us and Joey. But anyway, back to the knitting. For Abby, also for Christmas, I like to make her things as gifts because it shows how much I care, because of how much love and effort and time I put into gifts. I'm not saying I'm adverse to buying presents. Of course I buy her presents, but you know, I like to create things with my hands as well. So I am making her a hat and gloves using these yarns. Now I have designed the pattern myself, and when they're finished I will publish the pattern. Because they're going to be a gift for Christmas, there'll still be, you know, 3 or 4 months in England that we're going to need hats and things. So I'll hopefully publish this pattern the week before Christmas so that people can cast on. I'm actually thinking about doing a knit along when I release this pattern, or patterns. So anyway, it's going to be 2 colours obviously. So this blackish charcoal colour is Juniper Moon Farm Harriet Heathers. It's 100% baby alpaca. The colour, there isn't a colour. There's an RN number, whatever that is. Oh, colour 1001. So there we go. And it is, I think it's a DK weight or a worsted weight. But it's not very thick, but it's so soft. And when Abby and I first started dating, most of my yarn stash was upstairs in my room, and I was showing her all the crafty bits and things that I do as kind of a, I'm a bit crazy because I do all this stuff. Now are you going to take it and be pleasant, or are you just going to run a mile? And actually she picked this up and went, please make me something with this. So now I am, you know, albeit nearly 2 years later. So I'm using this one with this. Now this one I got at this year's, not this year's, last year's Crafters Fair in West Point in Exeter. And the colourway is Orchid, and it's a semi-solid dye. It's on her finest 4-ply, so it's 100% superwash Falkland Merino, tongue twister. So this is DK. No, it's a 4-ply, but it's very plump. Very, very plump. And it feels more like a DK worsted. So these two together, because it's colour work, they will work very nicely together. So that's going to be a hat and gloves. And they're all living in these boxes. Now I've painted tea boxes. I've been saving up organic clipper tea boxes. Because I'm painting them. I mean, this one hasn't got all the layers on it, but I'm painting them, and then when they're finished, I'll put pictures or whatever up on Instagram, I suppose, but they'll each have like a sugar cookie pattern on them with a different colour background, and they're just perfect little gift boxes. And I'm a big one for reusing things and upcycling. I mean, this dresser, for example, I did myself, but just smaller things like this makes all the difference. And it means that I don't have to buy gift boxes at Christmas when I can just use what I've already bought something else in, if that makes sense. And I do love the smell of tea. And so does everyone else I know, so it's all fine. So that is that. Okay, now a future knit for Nee for Christmas. I am making her a jumper, which I've also designed myself. I've been doing a lot of designing these past couple of weeks while I've been stuck in bed. And it's going to be a snowflake yoke jumper. It's 2 shades of blue. So one is a sort of cobalt blue and one's a more ice blue. But Neve has forever wanted a blue jumper with snowflakes. So this year I thought, right, I'm going to sit down and do it. The yarn hasn't arrived yet. So when it's arrived, I can double check my gauge and things like that. I've knit a sample of the snowflakes, so I know, you know, where to fit it across the body and things, and I know the measurements and all that kind of stuff. And I've got to do the sizings and write out the pattern properly, and then I shall knit it and call for testers, not just for that, but for the hat and gloves as well. The hat and gloves will be, I'll be sending out the test pattern at the middle to end of November, ready for the cal to start at the end of December. But the jumper also, I'll be sending out the test knits hopefully about the same sort of time. So I will show you that in more detail next week when I've done half of it, so you can see. Right, the final future knitting project I have for me is the Sapilla jumper, and I've linked it in the show notes because I can't remember the lady's name, the designer. I want to say Helen Stewart, but I don't think that's right. And I'm using 2 of my leaf yarns. So the first colour I'm using is this one, which is Shadow, and this is the contrast colour. And the other colour I'm using is this colour. That's coming out more pink than it actually is. Maybe that's better. It's more of a greyish mauvey lilac colour. Now this one doesn't have a name, and I will come to that later on the shop. But I'm going to be using these 2 colours together as a subtle contrast to make my sweater. Aren't they beautiful? But anyway, so moving on. Spinning! So, a while ago I had finished spinning this and I plied it, but I hadn't taken off the bobbin because I was letting it sit and the weather wasn't right and I wanted to wash it and get it dried properly. So this is Plant Pot, and this was another Sarah's Texture Crafts. Look at all that glisten in it. It's about 15% Selena, and it's mohair and merino and all sorts in here, and it's absolutely lovely. So I'm going to be making Neve a hat with this. She doesn't know it yet, but she does like it. So this is going to be her winter hat for this year. So I don't need to get this finished before Christmas. As long as it's still winter, it's fine. And it's just going to be a plain hat with maybe a little bit of pattern, we'll see. But what I'm trying to do now, everything that I knit, I'm trying to, unless it's things like the Sapilla or, Eshell jumper, which is also going to be using my yarns. This one's also going to be for the moons on that one. I'm trying to design as many of the garments and write patterns myself, using more of my yarns and my spinning and things like that to make it more accessible for everyone else as well. You know, because there's not many patterns out there that are perfect for, you know, thicker spun yarn that are written to, you know, X gauge or whatever, or you know what I mean. So I'm trying to utilize my skills to help myself and also to help you lot and everyone else. So this will be a hat. Next is this one. Now I applied this after the last episode, and I got, this is a worsted because I spun it quite tightly, but it's got a lot of bounce in it. Now these have all been washed now, so this is the true gauge, as it were. And this is going to be something to wear on the neck, but I'm not quite sure what yet. It'll either be a scarf or a shawl or a shawlette, but I will let you know when I decide to cast that one on. This one is about 180 yards. This one's about 280 yards. And then finally, I plied up my counter blaze. Now I have no idea on the yardage on this one yet. So it needs washing, and then I shall measure it and see what I get. So this has got, as you can see, it's purples, magentas and browns, and it's absolutely beautiful. So I'm really excited to knit something with this one as well. This is also probably going to be another hat design, and I shall do it as a colourwork hat. So there we go. So that is my spinning for this week. So crochet, I've only done a few squares, so instead of showing you those this week, I thought I'd show you my blanket as it is so far, and this is what I reached to grab before. So on here so far I have 1, 2, 3, 5.5 rows done, so 16 squares across, and it's a mixture of hand spun and mini skeins and some of mine. And then it joins into having 6. And so as you can see, it's a real montage of all sorts of different bright ones. And I have got yarns from all over the world on here, and I love it so much. The black yarn that I'm using to join it all together is just yeoman yarns that I bought on a cone, because it's a 500 gram cone and there's enough to do the whole blanket. So it wasn't expensive. It is merino, but it feels more like a cotton, so it's got a good structure on it, so it won't warp too much when I have to wash it and things. So yes, so that is what it looks like so far. And I have now got 81 squares left to make to add to it out of 256, so I'm getting there. I just need to keep joining them and keep going. What about there? Right, what else this week? Okay, sewing. I've not done sewing from pattern this week. My dress that I started making, I haven't touched other than to move to stop the cat sitting on it, because I've not been well enough to sit, and you know, with the vibrations from the machine hurting, I was like, no. So all I've done this week is I've altered mine and Abby's Halloween costumes ready for Saturday, because we, well, I say we, she's having a party at her shop and it's fancy dress because Halloween. So I'm going as Morticia Adams. I was told I was going as Morticia Adams, so I was like, okay, fine. And so I've got a long floor length velvet dress, black velvet with lace and all sorts. And we've got the smaller size and it was still really too big, so I had to take it in all the way down. And on the sleeves I've had to put lacy gauntlet gloves on it. But I will show you properly next Wednesday, because next Wednesday when I record is Halloween. So I'll wear it on the podcast and I'll do all the full Morticia makeup and the hair and nails and the lot, okay? Just for a bit of fun, you know. And then the other thing I've done is Abby's suit jacket, because she bought a Gomez suit and it needs a lot of taking in and things. Obviously it's a man's suit. She bought the small, it was a bin liner size. So I don't know if you can see, if I just make this bit you can see. So this is the jacket as it is now. I still need to finish attaching the pockets, they're just pinned on, and I have to put a handkerchief in the top pocket, which is on the other side. But I took in about 5 inches from each side on the waist, and I had to put in this dark detailing that goes right the way to the button band. And then I had to make the lapels smaller, because they were like how to here. And then I had to crop the shoulders, because the shoulders were about here, so I had to take those in. And then I had to take off the sleeves, and because they'd been made in a factory, they hadn't been paying attention because it's only cheap fabric, and they'd put them on wrong, so they were twisted and they were curving too much, run the wrong way. So I took those off, took them in a little bit, and then rotated them around to the correct position and put those back on. And then I had to, because it was double-breasted, I had to make it into single-breasted so it would fit better. And, well, it's finished, apart from just sewing on the pockets and the other, there's a breast pocket on the other side that you can't see, which I then have to sew in. It's just here, in fact, this red handkerchief, because red is the contrast colour for her as Gomez, and she's got a matching dicky bow as well. So there we go. So that's what I've been sewing, you know, over the last couple of weeks while I've been poorly. I'll just pop that back there. So I've got to finish that this evening so that we can have a sort of, you know, dry run tomorrow, or, you know, Saturday morning or whatever, because the party's 2 days away and I need to get them finished. So that's all my making. Okay, so I'm going to go on to my stash acquisitions, and then it'll be shop update. So I bought, after I saw on Instagram, because I follow this lady on Instagram, and she's the Pink Coat Club. That's her card. There we go, if you can see there, Pink Coat Club on Etsy and Pinterest. It's called Margot. And when this, I've been waiting for this colour to come out for ages. So I've wanted a sewist badge for a long time. And then she brought one out in lilac and I was like, that will be mine. Isn't that cute? Now I'm in the process of making a little banner to hang here below my Halloween cat. A little banner to hang off the handles so I can put all my pins on, because I've got a box in the cupboard behind me which has got lots and lots and lots of pins like this. So I'll have my little collection up here so I can just look at them all because they're lovely. Some of them are more spooky, some of them are more definitely crafty ones, but I love them and I don't want to have to put them on a bag or a coat. I want you to be able to see them. So that's my pin this week. And that came between recording episodes. I like doing that, apparently. Now, a few weeks ago, my order from Jinx Yarns came. Now, I was one of the lucky few that managed to catch her final update. Now, I haven't taken these out of the packet yet, but I managed to get 3 Never Ender on her Glitz sock, which is 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina, and it's 438 yards or 400 meters per 100 grams on her fingering. Because she's not dyeing anymore, she's had to give up because it was affecting her asthma. So it's Jinx Yarns, and I'm going to open this one. I apologise for the crinkling. Done. Short and sweet. So I bought 3 of this and I'm going to make a cardigan or a jumper with it. Isn't that beautiful? It is just so my colours. You know, sort of dark purple and purple tonal. It's absolutely lovely. So I have several things in my queue that this could become. But yeah, there's no point in me linking her shop in the show notes anymore because she's finished. But you know, she does still have a couple of bits on D-Stash, I think. Or if you're really keen to get someone, have a look on the Ravelry D-Stash, because someone somewhere has probably got some Jinx yarns. If you really want some, you can get some, you know. And I'm so sorry that she's had to stop dyeing. It's such a shame because I love it. But she's had a long run at it, so you know, she's on to doing different things now. So I'll put those there. And then these arrived about 2.5 weeks ago. I managed to catch a Voolenvine shop update when she was doing her Volca base week. When she started doing, when she swapped over and she was doing 2 bases each week. Excuse me. So I managed to get up and catch one of her updates. So I managed to get a sweater quantity of 1. I say sweater quantity, for me it's only 3 skeins, but that's because I'm so petite. So I have the other 2 in here, but you don't need to see those 2 because they're the same as this one. It's rice and it's on her Volca base, which is 80-10-10 superwash merino cashmere nylon. So I've got 3 of these beauties to make into a jumper or a cardigan or something. I think these are probably going to be part of a colourwork jumper. One of the ones that I have in my queue. And then I have got, I've been waiting for this one for ages. I Am No Bird, which is absolutely stunning. I love it so much. It's a delicate sort of mauvey pink colour, and it's got lots of these pretty speckles in it and things, and sort of beigey creams. It's lovely. And then finally, I managed to get some Solstice, and I've been waiting for this one for ages. Isn't that ever so delicate and pretty? Now this is probably going to be a shawl, and I will be using another yarn and one of these contrasts with the speckles to go with it. But I will probably have to dye that myself because I don't have anything in my stash that would work. But so I've got, because I was so good and I hadn't bought any yarn for so long, and then one of my friends says I'm closing down and the other one of my friends has a massive update, and I was like, it's been at least a year since I bought more than 1 skein of Voolenvine. And the last update I caught of hers was at least 6 months ago, and I managed to get one skein then as well, which is in the cupboard, but it was one of her, not mystery skein, oh, I can't remember, you know, the ones that aren't named, the ones she's playing around. But anyway, so I need to move on because I have probably got about 10 minutes before Abby will be home, so I need to get on and do the shop update bit. The shop update will be tomorrow, which is the 26th of October, Friday, at 6 PM UK or 1 PM Eastern Time, New York time, and then, you know, across. So I have got tree lichen. Now these 5 are all new colours that I've dyed up because it's now autumn. So I will do these ones right through till spring, and then just for custom or whatever occasionally. So this is tree lichen. And then I've got this on merino silk lace only this week. If it goes well, I will put it on other bases. And then there is shadow, which I've got on merino cashmere nylon, and merino silk, and merino silk lace. And this is the one I should be using on my jumper. And then I have got Windfall, which is absolutely beautiful. It reminds me of all the leaves and things that are falling at the moment, especially maple leaves. And I've got this on merino silk, MCN, and no, merino nylon. And then I have, oh, this one is so beautiful. I want to keep this one, but I'm not going to. I shall dye myself some another time. And this one is Rose Tea. Now, both of these last two are very mauvey colours. And then this one as well is also a sort of mauvey colour. I'm trying to build up a palette of neutrals so that people can use them alongside lots of other colours as their base colour, or just on their own because it's so pretty. So this one, so that one's Windfall, which I have on the merino nylon. And then this one, Rose Tea, I have on merino silk, fingering weight and lace weight. And some merino nylon as well. Isn't that beautiful? And then finally, there is this one. And this, oh, it's absolutely beautiful. This is one I'm going to be using to make a jumper out of. And I have it on merino silk, and merino lace, and merino nylon for this week's shop update on tomorrow in the evening. Now, I cannot pick a name that's worthy of this yarn because, oh, it's so beautiful. I mean, look, different colours and tones. So there's going to be a competition on Instagram to name this yarn. And if you're the winner, if you choose a name that I absolutely love, I will send you a skein of it. It'll be a random base, but I will send you a skein. But you have to remember the Ravelry group and follow me on Instagram. So if you are on both places, so Leaf Yarns podcast group on Ravelry and follow me as Leaf Yarns on Instagram, then you can enter and win this skein if I pick the colourway name that you suggest. So this colourway will be going in the shop tomorrow evening as well. So you've got 24 hours to get your entries in and pick a name for it, okay? And then I'll send this out on Monday or Tuesday with the other orders. Okay, right. That is it for this week. Coming up to 49 minutes. So I'm going to have to love you and leave you. It's been an absolute pleasure coming back and talking to you guys this week. Don't forget, join the podcast group on Ravelry, which is Leaf Yarns. Follow me on Instagram, which is also Leaf Yarns. And subscribe to the YouTube channel below. And if you would like the video, that would be great. And please share, let everyone know that I'm back. and things are only going to get bigger and better. Okay, enjoy your knitting and crafting, whatever it is you do to relax, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.